Hello guys, this is Rebecca Restituyo and this is my video presentation on the book Bone Black by Bell Hooks. Hope you enjoy it. Bell Hooks' birth name is Gloria Jean Watkins. She's an American author, social activist, and feminist. She was born in Hopkinsville, Kentucky on September 25, 1952, and she's still alive today at the age of 65. Her father worked at a local post office as a janitor, and her mother was a homemaker who raised Belle and her six siblings. She came from a poor working class family and attended racially segregated public schools. She liked to perform poetry readings at her church. Belle went to Stanford University on a scholarship and graduated in 1973, followed by a master's degree in English literature in 1976 from the University of Wisconsin at Madison. She was able to obtain a PhD at the University of California, Santa Cruz, after she completed a dissertation on the work of Toni Morrison in 1983. Some of her major books are Ain't I a Woman, Black Woman and Feminist, Talking Back, Thinking Feminist, Thinking Black. In terms of the book Bone Black, the story is told in brief vignettes in which she illuminates each of these elements that compose the world, describing her parents, and even sometimes points of violence, portraying the challenges of marriage. Belle begins her memoirs talking about a dream in regards to her family's burnt house, and the storyteller who tells her family to stop crying, followed by weaving together the words and pieces of their lives destroyed by the fire. This book focused a lot on Belle's childhood, and in her book, she talks about how hard it was growing up in such a racist time period, while also living in the South. She portrayed the image of a young girl who had dreams of becoming a writer and was very strong spirit. This book is written in both first person and third person, which was a little confusing, and it left me kind of wanting more from the book. Now, I will be discussing three major points I address within my paper. The first major point is Belle and her feelings in terms of family. Belle always felt like an outsider in her very own family, and they made sure they reminded her of that quite often, which to me, this was very traumatizing and discouraging for Belle. Belle had too much spirit for her father, and therefore they never really developed a relationship. Luckily, Belle had many female role models in her life. These female role models included her grandmothers, aunts, and others. Because of her family pointing out the differences between them and Belle's interests, Belle felt that she couldn't connect with other people because other people didn't have the same interests as her. And she thought that her very own family did not enjoy the same things that she enjoyed, or at least supported her with her passion. Why would anyone else do it? The second point that I address within my paper is this experience that she had by reading the book The Bluest Eye by Toni Morrison. This experience was a positive one during her childhood because she read this book that demonstrates to her that there are people like her out there, but she has to find them. This book was very good for her because she realized that she is not the only person that has this passion for reading and writing, and that she's not the only person that feels isolated from her family because of her passions. She states in the book Bone Black, I was still in my teens when I read this book. It shook me to the very roots of my being. There, in this fictional narrative, were fragments of my story, my girlhood. Always an obsessive reader, I have felt this lack. To see this period of our life given serious recognition was awesomely affirming. My life was never going to be the same after reading this book. It wasn't simply that Morrison focused on black girls, but that she gave us girls confronting issues of class, race, and identity. Girls who were struggling to confront and cope with pain. And most of all, she gave us black girls who were critical thinkers, theorizing their lives, telling stories, and by doing so, making themselves subject of history. The third major point that I address within my book is that Belle went through a lot as a child, and she went against all odds and decided to continue fighting for what she believed in, herself and her passion for reading and writing. Some of her awards include the American Book Award, Writers Award, Image Award nomination, Hutch Stern Wright Legacy Award nomination. This just demonstrates that Belle just continued and pushed through against everything that she was facing and became the writer that she wanted to be and addressed issues such as class, race, and identity and brought awareness to these things by her reading and writing. Belle's racial identity affected her life experiences in both a negative and positive way. It affected her in a negative way because she suffered a lot by not having a connection with her father and the lack of support from her family, as he thought that reading and writing was not a career for a black woman. However, it was a positive because she was able to take that crisis and turn it into an opportunity. Her childhood encouraged her to write about issues that involved racism, inequality, the roles of men and women according to society, and how women should not keep quiet about the injustice of society. Although Hooks was supposed to become a quiet, well behaved young woman, she became instead a woman who talked back. This action, for which Hooks eventually named a volume of essay, actually refers to the development of a strong sense of self that allows black women to speak out against racism and sexism. She ended up gaining a reputation as a writer of critical essays on systems of domination. My personal intake on this book is that I truly enjoyed reading it because Belle did a great job incorporating her feelings. It wasn't just explaining how her childhood was difficult, but she included those emotions and thoughts that made the audience feel the same pain that she was feeling when she was describing all of the struggles that she faced as a child. It was amazing to see how, even though Belle and I are from different racial backgrounds and identities, I connected with her on so many different levels, from culture to growing up facing racism and discrimination, and even also dealing with family not supporting me in my career choice. I would definitely recommend this book for everyone to read. As Belle explains in this book, a perfect example of how we can take a crisis and just turn it into an opportunity. Thank you for watching.